What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream, and happy Monday, people. As we get into another week of football with the Euros semi-final tomorrow night and Wednesday, and then the final on Sunday, Copa America the same. And then we can really focus on club football. A week later, the pre-season tour starts. Pre-season actually starts a week today. So all the players will report back next Monday. Obviously, there's a group of Arsenal players already in Marbella with the manager Mikel Arteta, the likes of Ben White, Martin Odegaard, I think Eddie Nketiah's there, and Jurrien Timber as well. So we'll see, people. But big up to everyone locked in. Hope you're well. Appreciate everyone who tuned in for the watch-alongs over the weekend. We did a lot of content over the weekend, and man, how again, I hate to do this. I feel like Patrick Truman in EastEnders. I'm like an old man from the Caribbean who, moans a lot. But how bad has this Euros been towards the knockout stage, man? The tournament started off quickly. We got a lot of goals at the start. And since then, it's been dreadful, man. Some boring games, extra time every minute, 0-0s, 1-0s, 1-1s. Such a poor competition. You have to wonder, what is the reason for it? 18 months ago, we watched one of the best World Cups we've ever seen in terms of entertainment. 18 months later, we're watching one of the worst Euros I think we've ever seen. Such a lack of individual quality, a lack of speed, a lack of, ability to go and attack a game. Is it down to the poor management? Deschamps, very defensive, playing with 3 DMs. Martinez, poor with Portugal. Southgate is poor with England. Are we suffering because of the managers? Are the players tired? I don't know whether that's a viable excuse. Is it just that everybody is on this slow, timid, pass and move football and individual quality is not there as much? I don't know. But this for me has been a dreadful tournament. And I'll be honest, I can't wait for club football to come back. Although saying that, the first time Arsenal drop points, I'll be going mental. Mars said, big up Big C, just confirmation of my place at uni. Congrats to you, bro. Rory Sang said, honestly, miss club football. This is why it's club over country, because international football is not the same. Big C, was Ronaldinho right about modern football? I think he is. Players are overcoached. Individual quality is coached out of the game at an early age. Everything's pass and move. Everything's systems. I think individual brilliance is suffering. I think the game as a whole has suffered due to overcoaching. And listen, it's even the Copa America. I mean, the Copa America's been better, but I don't even think that's been that good. Look at Brazil. Let's be real. Apart from maybe Argentina fans who don't like Brazil, every football fan had a soft spot for Brazil growing up. Didn't matter what country or team you supported, Brazil. You either loved Ronaldo, or you loved Rivaldo, or you loved Ronaldinho, or you loved Saka, or you loved all of them. We all loved Brazil. There was something special about Brazil growing up. I'm watching Brazil in the Copa America, and I'm like, again, I don't mean to sound like a moany old man. I grew up watching Romario, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Saka. Now I'm watching Joel Linton. I'm watching Richarlison. You know what I mean? I'm watching Danilo at right back. I'm like, what's going on? Like, this is crazy. The one thing I will say, I think there's a group of young players in world football that can turn things around. I look at Lamine Yamal. I look at Musiala. I look at Bellingham. I look at Vinicius Junior. Look at Mbappe. I look at Haaland. Not all the most exciting players in terms of Haaland, but I just think there's a group of young players there that are going to come through, that are going to, lift football again. And football goes in circles, and I think there will be a time when football does become that little bit more attacking again. Neymar, you know what? I watched a video of Neymar the other day, and it just pops on the timeline. And I really think Neymar was sent to be the saviour. He was the new Ronaldinho that's going to nutmeg you, that's going to flick it over your head, that's going to bend it in the top corner. He was that guy. I honestly think Neymar going to PSG is one of the worst moves we've ever seen in football. It genuinely ruined his career. Endrick as well, I like Endrick. He played up front the other night. It's like, come on, 17-year-old winger leading the line. It's not going to happen. Vic said, Curtis, why do you think all managers seem to stop all these players' freedom and flair? They all get told to play like robots. It's just dull now. I think managers want to control the game more. They want to know what's happening. Football at the top level now is almost becoming like a Hollywood movie. When you get the ball, you're going to do this. When you're off the ball, you're going to move to there. It's so structured now. And like I said, my son Cruz plays academy football, and it's very much, very structured even at a young age now. And I don't blame Pep, but it very much comes from Pep. Pep's style of football is what they're trying to do at a young age now and moving through. But yeah, Neymar was that guy, man. Neymar should have been the saviour of football. Canada in the semis of the Copa America against Argentina. What a game that'll be. Neymar is easily one of Brazil's greats, but people won't see past the injuries. The fact he's won nothing major. Yep, 100%. Couldn't do it alone. I mean, he got a broken back in that World Cup where Germany won it. Salman said, I miss Barcelona Neymar. Gosh, but the move is just typically Brazilian, prime for like 3 or 4 years. At Barcelona, Neymar was absolutely incredible. Incredible. The PSG move finished him. What he didn't realise, France is one of the most physical leagues in Europe. They kicked him all over the place. Battered his ankles. Didn't happen for him. Big up my bro Hakeem. He said, Arteta turned Saka into a robot. He frustrates me because he's got way more to offer in terms of aggression. Right, let's talk Arsenal. And you know what? Hey, and big up Eddie who said, listening to you while doing VAT returns. Hey, make sure you fill them receipts in properly. I don't know about anybody else, but sometimes with Saka, I see bits of his game and I think, you might actually have a little bit more to your game than we think. And I defend Saka a lot on this channel because I think in the modern game, you can't turn down output. And Saka, although last season wasn't as exciting to watch as the season before, he produced numbers. And football is becoming a numbers game. It really is. As horrible as it is, they want players that get 20 goals, even if you're not as exciting to watch anymore. And I just think sometimes with Saka, play him a bit higher up the pitch. Get the ball to him quickly. And you see a better player. I'll be honest. We did the England watch along the other day. I thought Saka was absolutely brilliant in that game. He ruined that left back. Absolutely ruined him. Every time he got the ball, I got on my right foot, I got on my left foot. He couldn't handle him. And I think sometimes, are we using Saka as more of a, in FIFA terms anyway, if we're talking about positioning, you obviously have like a right midfielder, a right winger, and a right forward. Salah is a right forward. He plays on the corner of the opposition penalty area. He plays close to the striker. He's looking to score. I would say Saka at Arsenal is a right winger. He hugs the touchline. He plays quite deep. He gets the ball on the halfway line a lot. A lot of time he's got his back to the goal that we're shooting against. Do we need to actually try and get Saka higher up the pitch and closer to the striker? Because I think Saka could score more goals. I think you've got to get the ball to him quicker. And then I think you enable him to be more attacking, to get more goals, to get into more goal-scoring positions. One thing I've loved about this weekend, Saka starting to get the flowers he deserves on an international and a worldwide spectrum. We call him Star Boy. We defend him. We're aware of the slight flaws in his game. Nobody's saying he's perfect. Can he be more unpredictable? Can he be more skillful? Can he score more goals? All of them things are things that you can improve with age, no problem. But he got the flowers this weekend. He was England's best player. He dragged them back into the game. I've always said Saka needs those big moments. He needs to score in a cup final, in a semi-final, drag his team through. He was fantastic. He was fantastic. And he's one of them players, we have to appreciate him. There are elements of the game that are frustrating, and I talk about it. Can you be more unpredictable? Can you shoot more? Blah, blah, blah. But we have to also appreciate what this guy is. He came through our system. that's £100 million plus football player that's committed to the club. That was a huge moment for him. That was his biggest moment in an England shirt. I'm trying to think as an Arsenal fan, what's his biggest moment as an Arsenal player? Because unfortunately, he hasn't had a final really to play in. He was a young player in the FA Cup final. He was on the bench. So you're talking about league games where he's had big moments. So that was a huge moment for him in his career. Scores a brilliant goal, rips up their left back, and then takes the penalty. And we know what that penalty meant to him because of what happened last time. Now, Rio Ferdinand put out a tweet talking about racism. The 5 players who scored the penalties all have Caribbean or African descent, including Cole Palmer, whose dad is from St. Kitts. Caused a lot of controversy. People said, oh, you're stirring up racism. But I think it was important that he spoke about it. And the reason I respect the fact that he brought it up was it's not about stirring racism. It's about the fact that it's so sad that we know that if Saka had missed that penalty, he gets it right in the corner. He moves that a yard further to the right, it hits the post. The sad thing is that we know that 1 yard is the difference between Saka being celebrated and Saka being racially abused. And not just Saka, Ivan Toney, whoever, it would have been the same. So it is crazy. You know, the fine margins of football, which is still the problems that we're facing in England and maybe other countries. However, let's focus on the positive. Look at the performance. Most shots, most chances created, most take-ons, most completed take-ons, second most tackles, third highest in possession won. It was a brilliant performance. He deserves the flowers. And listen, even though I'm a bit gutted because back-to-back extra times, and as an Arsenal fan, I'm looking, going, first of all, from a selfish point of view, if I go on this US tour, which I should be, I don't think Saka will be there, and I don't think Declan Rice will be there, which is sad because we're going to play against, you know, Man United, Liverpool. You want to beat them. You want to see all the best players. And he may miss it. Real Madrid have already announced any player that makes a semi-final, Copa America or Euros, will not go on their US tour. I'm not sure. The game's in 2 days, which would be the 10th. UEFA and FIFA states a player will be given 21 days off, 3 weeks. So that would take him to about the 30th. So you're probably not going to see him till the Emirates Cup, to be honest. But a brilliant performance from Saka. Huge moment. And listen, big game against Holland on Wednesday. I'll obviously be doing a watch-along for that. Can they get past Holland? This will be their toughest test. So we'll see what happens with that one. And just another one quickly, from an Arsenal point of view. I've seen people criticising Declan Rice. Now, I'm not one of these guys that because they play for Arsenal, I'm just going to be delusional and pretend I don't see the pros and cons of their performance. Declan Rice in this tournament, on the ball, has not been as good as what you've seen of him on the ball at Arsenal. However, we have a system. We have players around him that demand the ball. We get the ball quickly to Rice. So I think it's different. England don't have a system. He played the first couple games with Trent. Then he had Conor Gallagher. Now he's got Kobbie Mainoo. Hell of a lot of responsibility on him. But don't ignore what he's doing off the ball. No player has covered more distance than Declan Rice. 63.9 kilometres. 16 tackles made, more than any other midfielder. It's important what happens out of possession. On the ball in this tournament, I'll be honest, he hasn't been as good. He hasn't been as good. But we're a better team than England. On the ball. Probably off the ball. Arsenal are a better team than England. That's the reality. Maybe not on paper, individual quality, but the way we play football is far better than how England play football. So are we surprised Declan Rice doesn't look as good? Does Jude Bellingham look as good as he did for Real Madrid doing the celebration? Look at Phil Foden. Phil Foden, to me, has been the worst England player in this tournament. He's been the worst. I keep saying it's Chesney out of Coronation Street. He's just won Player of the Year in the Premier League. What has Foden done in this competition? No big chances created, no assists, no goals, no nothing. He's produced nothing at all. You take Declan Rice out of that team and see what happens. Play Conor Gallagher there. See how that goes. He played for 45 minutes. Look at that. Dragged him off the pitch. So the criticism of Rice, I'll admit it, on the ball, 100% not as good. Giving the ball away too easily. But don't disregard what this guy's doing off the ball. And it is important. You have to win the ball. You have to win the ball back. But Phil Foden, interesting though, the press don't want to criticise Man City players. Funny that, isn't it? Kyle Walker. Admittedly, one of the best right-backs in Premier League history. You've seen what that guy's been doing in this tournament. Kyle Walker. Looks like a headless chicken. Absolutely been terrible in this tournament. Phil Foden, having the stinker of all tournaments. Comes off before the penalty shootout. Oh, didn't want a penalty, no? Didn't fancy that responsibility. All right, cool, no problem. Don't hear nothing about Foden, do you? In fact, they bigged up Foden at half-time, despite the fact he was doing nothing in the game. And heard nothing about that, have you? Man City tax, eh? No problem. No problem. Harry Kane. Harry Kane, listen, let me just briefly talk about Harry Kane. Harry Kane at club level, one of the best strikers in the world, no problem. Right, and it's not all his fault, by the way. Harry Kane needs wingers that are fast. At Bayern, he's got Coman and Sané and Gnabry. At Tottenham, he had Son. He's dropping deep. He hasn't got players running in behind. It doesn't suit him. However, let's talk about Harry Kane's career at the top level. Let's talk about national team. The World Cup quarter-final in Qatar against France. He doesn't score and he puts a penalty to the moon. Semi-final against Croatia, World Cup 98. Can roll the ball to Raheem Sterling, 6 yards out, 2-0, England get to the final. Shoot straight at the keeper, then hits the post. Okay. Euros final, doesn't even have a shot on target. No influence on the game over 120 minutes. Let's talk about his Tottenham career. Champions League final. Lucas Moura hat-trick semi-final. Kane comes back for the final, doesn't score, doesn't get an assist. FA Cup semi-final against Man United, no goal, no assist. Carabao Cup final against Man City, no goal, no assist. So we have to understand what Harry Kane is. He might win a golden boot, but does this guy turn up at the biggest moments in the biggest games? Did I say 98? Sorry, 2018. 2018. This guy does not turn up in the biggest games of his career. It just doesn't happen. So, they used to call Lukaku, oh, he's a flat track bully, bullies up. We've got to start having conversations about Harry Kane. Yeah, World Cup 2018. Sorry, I think I said 98. I was thinking of real football, World Cup 98. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. 2018 against Croatia. Could have rolled it to Sterling. So, stat padder, man. Flat track bully to me. Guy don't turn up in the biggest games. When you suggest dropping him for England, people think you're speaking a different language. Oh, you can't drop Kane. Why not? What's he doing? What's he done in this tournament? But I'll leave it. I'll leave it. It'll be there, innit? Yeah, real football, man. Real football. I think I said 98, but yeah, what a World Cup that was, man. I love that World Cup. France-Brazil final. Yeah, I turned up with some Rafa Benitez homework, man. It's Tottenham. He's ex-Tottenham, so, you know, if you're going to go for him, turn up with them cold-blooded facts on a Monday, bro. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's talk Arsenal anyway. Transfers. Who should we start with? Do you know what? It's Monday, so I want to give you all some reasons to be excited. If this doesn't excite you, I don't know what will. David Ornstein turns up with the first alarm bells of the summer. Woo, woo, woo. I'm like, here we go, Ornstein. It might be Calafiori, or maybe we've signed somebody else. Let's go. Arsenal contact Wolves to express interest in signing Dan Bentley. 30-year-old goalkeeper identified by Arsenal as a backup option, homegrown and a great character. Wolves would only sell if a suitable bid lands so they can reinvest. Dan Bentley. I thought David Bentley had come out of retirement. Remember David Bentley? What a player he was. Dan Bentley. Pep must be shaking in his boots. Honestly, he must be shaking. Say, oh, damn. Listen, all jokes aside, information and entertainment. That's my entertainment. I'll be honest, I had to really think who this guy was when they said it. Do you know what I mean, Lawrence? Costa, Oblak, Mike Mignon. No, Dan Bentley. Listen, all jokes aside, I don't want to do this guy dirty. I'd hardly heard of him. Apparently, the first story I read said they wanted £4 million for him. I'm seeing stories today saying they want £1 million for him. Like, 1 million. Like, Arteta could probably take that out of his pocket. He's on about 10 million a season. He's being signed as a backup goalkeeper. Right, so I'm not going to do the guy dirty. He played for Arsenal at youth team level. He was released at a young age. Hey, Lay, I like that. We'll have a Rolls Royce and a Bentley in defence. That's a good one. Nah, listen, I don't want to do the guy dirty. He's being signed for a purpose, so I'm not going to annihilate this guy. He's not being brought in to be our first choice goalkeeper and get regular game time. So, listen, I like a little joke. Before everyone cries, oh, you ain't even seen him play for Arsenal. Listen, he's 30 years of age. He's English. He only played 5 games for Wolves last year. They're trying to get him for £1 million, which ain't going to do anything. Obviously, the plan is probably to get rid of a couple of English players, whether that be Nketiah, Ramsdale, Smith Rowe, Nelson. Homegrown players are going to be sold this summer. So Arsenal have to get homegrown players in. If you can get a goalkeeper in for £1 million, it is what it is. Initially, the story was being put that he was going to be brought in maybe as Arsenal's second choice goalkeeper. But they're now saying he could be the third choice goalkeeper. Karl Hein could be loaned out and Bentley could come in as the third choice. But then if Ramsdale was to be sold, he could potentially be pushed up to the second choice. So, I don't know. I'm not even going to cap. I don't even remember really watching this guy play. Last time I remember, he was in the Championship. I watch a bit of Championship football. This guy was at Bristol City. I know he did well there. Got a move to Wolves. He's been at Wolves for 2 years. And in the Premier League, he's made 7 appearances. So, they're not interested. If they want £1 million for him, I think that tells you everything. I suppose the slight worry would be if you sell Ramsdale, this guy becomes the second choice and anything happens to Raya, is he actually good enough to play as the first choice for Arsenal over a long period? And you've made the point, Nick. He was at Brentford with Kane. Now, this guy seems to have a massive say in what happens at Arsenal. The goalkeeper coach. Remember, this is the guy that apparently signed Runarsson. So, when this guy, Inaki Kane, who is the goalkeeper coach at Arsenal, highly rated, although, when you signed Runarsson, that rating went a bit. But yeah, he was at Brentford, and he obviously was influential in Arsenal signing David Raya. He was also there 2018-19 season when Bentley played 33 games in the Championship for Brentford. It's funny, this guy was at Brentford. How about you use your Brentford links to go and get Ivan Toney, you know what I mean? But you're going to go and get Dan Bentley and, you know what I mean, players like that. I know everyone's not sold on getting Ivan Toney, so, forgive me if you're not. But, hey, it is what it is. It's a backup goalkeeper. There's no need to panic. It was just, listen, first Ornstein alarm of the summer, and you're hoping it's something big. Is it Gyökeres? Is it Osimhen? And it's Dan Bentley. I genuinely had to Google him. I forgot who he was. I forgot he was the guy that played for Bristol City. But listen, Arsenal are doing this to tick a box. I don't think there's any need to panic. This isn't a major signing. It's to tick a box. You have to have so many homegrown players in your squad. If Arsenal can sell Ramsdale for 30, 40 million pounds and bring in Bentley for $1 million, then business-wise, you've done well, but obviously he's going to be a big downgrade. Man said it's an Ornstein stink bomb. He could actually end up being third choice. I'm not actually convinced that Ramsdale will definitely leave. And the reason is, I don't see why Arsenal would loan Ramsdale, and the club that I thought would sign him would be Newcastle. And it looks like Newcastle are going to sign a different goalkeeper. So where does he actually end up? Does he end up at Wolves? Wolves have been linked with him, but they've got Saka in goal, and he's a good goalkeeper. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I don't think that tweet didn't even warrant the alarm bell. I think, you just knock on the door and just tell us what's happening there, Ornstein. Don't use alarm bells for Dan Bentley, but he might come in as the third choice. Karl Hein could get loaned out. It's amazing. I mean, there are rumours, Salman, that Ramsdale could get loaned out because it seems as if we're struggling to sell him. And what you have to remember, guy's on 100 grand a week. Ederson's on 100 grand at Man City. To get 100 grand a week as a goalkeeper in the Premier League, you've got to be at one of the top half clubs, I would say. I mean, look, bottom half clubs will pay it, but how many of them need it? Rambo swap plus money for Neto. It makes so much sense, Akeem, bro. It ain't going to happen. Yeah, it makes so much sense. We probably won't do it. Sell Ramsdale to Saudi. It's funny, innit? The Saudis have spent so much money on players. Not one of Arsenal's players has gone there yet. Why don't they just come and sign Fabio Vieira for 40 million? Sign Partey for 55 million. Like, when are we going to enjoy the Saudi money, man? You know what I mean? Come and sign some of our cast-offs for big, big money, But we ain't had it yet. We'll see. But yeah, Dan Bentley, people. Get yourself down to the Armoury and get him on the back of your shirt. The excitement. I couldn't contain my excitement. But nah, all jokes aside. Backup goalkeeper, no problem. If he's third choice, it's not bad. Let's talk about this guy. I mean, when I see links to this guy, I'm genuinely tempted to just ignore it and not even report it. I'm only here to report the news, people. Just to keep you guys in the know of what's happening. I've opened that box again. We're putting another name in the box. In that box, Yann Villa, Julian Draxler, Gonzalo Higuain, William Carvalho. Players that Arsenal, Karim Benzema, players that Arsenal get linked with every single season, and somehow we never sign them. Brazilian international winger, Raphinha. I'm convinced that Edu owns half of this guy's contract or something. Because Edu seems desperate to get this guy to Arsenal. When this guy was at Leeds, we were all over it. Then he goes Barcelona. We're linked with him after the first year, now the second year. Well, I mean, why do we want this guy so much? He's decent. Like, he's not bad. I'm not going to say the guy's a bad player. He's all right. Two interesting things about this story that make me think this is unbelievably made up. Arsenal have launched a player plus cash bid for Arsenal winger Raphinha. Now, the story in the Evening Standard says they're going to offer 30 million plus Eddie Nketiah. I mean, we need some red stripe. I mean, listen, can you imagine being inside the Barcelona offices? Real Madrid, they've won the league, they've won the Champions League. On top of that, they've just signed Kylian Mbappe. Okay, Barcelona, I tell you what you need to catch Real Madrid and catch Kylian Mbappe. Not Haaland. No. What you need, mate, is Eddie Nketiah. Yeah, that'll solve things, mate. That'll solve it. You play Nketiah up front while they play Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo with Bellingham in the 10. That'll solve your problems. I want to know who at the Evening Standard wrote that story. I know it might be a quiet Monday. I know the news may be quiet, but just don't do that. Don't do it. You know when they sign big players at Madrid and Barcelona? Remember when Cristiano Ronaldo signed for Real Madrid? The whole stadium was full for the unveiling. Mbappe will be the same. When Barcelona signed Neymar, stadium full to the brim, 80-odd thousand. How many fans would be at the Nou Camp for Eddie Nketiah announcement video? What skills would he do? Like, I don't know. Coming to Barcelona. Maybe he'll tell a joke. Get them all laughing. Yeah, and listen, Brobbey reported this as well, and I did clown him for it. So I'm not even really showing that bit, but I don't understand. But in terms of Raphinha, the other thing that annoys me with this story It says that Barcelona would be willing to let him go for around 50 to 60 million pounds. But they want the money to go and get Nico Williams. A lot of Arsenal fans think we should get Nico Williams. So effectively, by signing Raphinha, you'd be funding Barcelona to sign Nico Williams. So why don't you just cut out the middleman, just go and buy Nico Williams directly? I don't know, maybe that makes more sense. But he might have his eyes set only on Barcelona anyway. Would you guys take Raphinha? We all know that we need a right winger to go and compete with Saka. Would you take Raphinha? Personally, I wouldn't be totally against it, but he wouldn't be near the top of my list. There's right wingers. I'd take Kudus over him. I'd take Neto over him. He wouldn't be nowhere near the top of my list. Salman said 100k coolers would be at the new camp to tear it down. Maybe he'd be on his phone. He'd do the phone celebration. I'd say they're better options. He's on 150 grand a week. He hasn't pulled up trees at Barcelona. He's not a bad player, but Southern Gunner, big up Matt. Make sure you go and follow Matt. He said it's near the bottom half of the list. Yeah, like if we signed him, I wouldn't be unhappy because he's not a bad football player. He would offer competition for Saka, but for me, he's not the answer. I don't think he's done enough at Barcelona. Every year they seem to be linked with a move for him, and Lamine Yamal's 16. I think he pushes Raphinha out of that team on the right wing. I'm looking at his stats last season. 6 goals, 9 assists. The year before, 7 goals, 7 assists. 3 goals in the Champions League. None the year before. Yeah, for me, turns 28 this year. I wouldn't be looking to sign Raphinha. I really wouldn't. I think there's far better options. 2 years ago, yeah, I'm with you, Don. We were finishing 5th. Raphinha leaving Leeds. I was on that deal. I've got to be honest. But at this stage, listen, as a backup, he's not terrible, but I wouldn't be looking to get that deal done, man. I think there's better options. Headloss said, Kurt manifested Eddie at Barcelona. Hey, listen. To me, Eddie, more like Brentford, mate. Oh, manifested Eddie at the Bernabeu. Remember when I said that? We're going to turn up at the Bernabeu with Eddie up top. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Maybe you can play for Barcelona at the Bernabeu against Real. Nico or Chiesa? I'd go Nico just because he's younger. Injury record's better. I feel he's a player on the up, where I feel Chiesa is a player on the way down. And he's had a major, major injury. Oh, Barcelona B. They're saying Eddie could play for Barcelona B. But anyway, Raphinha being linked with Arsenal, it'll be no surprise that he's every year, I think. Daily Dusan, daily Raphinha, these guys every year. When it's a quiet news day, they must go, listen, boss, got nothing for the Arsenal transfer news today. What should we do? Vlahovic or Raphinha? Just go with one of them. And that'll fill the newspapers. But we'll see, people. We'll see. What are you saying in the comments? Barcelona with Raphinha, Eddie and Ferran Torres. They'd struggle to make the Conference League. Daily Sesko. Well, I think that one's done now. We know he's staying. I see all but somebody. Eddie should go to the Saints, Southampton. Brian said, I see all Barcelona games. Raphinha is a really bad bet. Mikel wants his Doku. Yeah, maybe that pace. We do need pace. But it's got to be the right pace. You can get the wrong pace. We need the right pace. Anyway, let's move on. Bentley and Raphinha. Interesting. Let's talk about Calafiori. When the moon hits your eyes like a pizza pie, Calafiori. That's got to be the song, surely. Arsenal, it's ready. I've given it. North Bank, Clock End. All the Arsenal fans, when the moon hits your eye like a pizza pie, Calafiori. When's he going to sign for Arsenal? Fabrizio is rinsing the living daylights out of this one. He's tweeting 3 times a day the same words in a different order. His latest one is Arsenal are pushing to get the Calafiori deal done next week as a final round of talks have already been scheduled. Arsenal are confident as Calafiori wants the move. He's keen on Arsenal project and agreed on a contract till June 2029 of 4 million net euros per season. There we go. He's on his way. Bro, come on. You know that's a banger, innit? That's got to be the song. If it ain't that song, what else is it? I don't know what the original song's called. When the moon is your... When the moon. Who is it? I think it's called When the Moon. You guys will know. Someone will know in the comments. I don't know who it's by, but that's got to be the song. I'm ready for it. People are calling him Calamari online. That's got to be the ops. Oh, apparently that's Amore. That's what they call it, right? Amore. There you go. That's got to be the song. Calafiori. Dean Martin. That's Amore. There we go. Big up. You guys know in the comments. It's got to be the song. It's easy. As long as he's a good player. You don't want to sing that song if he ain't good. Notice the tone has changed. Come in now. Confident he wants to move. Last week they were talking. Yeah, honestly, Fabrizio will make about 50 grand off this move. Honestly, the amount of tweets he will remix before he does the here we go. But the game is the game. I can't disrespect him. You got to do it. Ross said he made that song up this morning. Fair play. It's obvious, isn't it? It's got to be the one. I like Calafiori, up-and-coming baller. When are we going to sign? Well, apparently this week. So we'll see. He's already agreed terms. Juventus have dropped out. Chelsea have dropped out. Apparently Arsenal have agreed 50 million euros. What they're trying to negotiate is the structure of the payments. Which, you know, Arsenal love a layaway, a Klarna payment plan, you know. So I'm sure they're negotiating that. Listen, I'll be honest. I think Arsenal sign him this week. I think this deal gets done this week. The only thing that could delay this, he's put up pictures. He's on holiday in the Maldives. Oh, Ross said I didn't really at Shaw's. I was willing to give you half the credit there. You could have claimed that shamelessly. He's on holiday in the Maldives. He's put up pictures. Now, will Arsenal delay announcing the signing until he comes back from the Maldives? Because, you know, Arsenal will want to do an announcement video and take the pictures and so on and so forth. So, I think the deal will get done this week in terms of agreeing the fee with Bologna, agreeing the way we pay. Italy went out early, so you'd be able to get him on the US tour. So I think the deal will be agreed with the clubs this week, but maybe we won't get the announcement video this week because I'm pretty sure he'll be given 3 weeks off. He's already been off for about a week, so you might have him back just before the US tour. I mean, listen, players have signed and announced themselves while they've been on holiday, but more often than not, they'll maybe delay it. I'm not sure. Don said, Curtis, I don't know how good he is. Listen, I've said the same thing. I'm not going to sit here ever and tell you guys how good this guy is because I'll be honest, last year I watched one Bologna game. One Bologna game. And I was watching Xerxes because we were being linked with him. And the game was on and I thought, let me have a look at this guy in case we sign him. And I wasn't really even taking notice of Calafiori. I've watched him more during the Euros. And he looks decent. But I don't know. When we signed Kivior... You know, they said Maldini wanted him at AC Milan. The fan base were going crazy. Oh, Kivior, Maldini wanted him. He's one of the best defenders ever. He'll know defenders. Kivior hasn't been that great. He hasn't been that bad, but... So, I hope he's right. And listen, some of you guys, honestly, will have watched this guy more than me. So, I'm listening to your opinions. You're tuning into my channel, but genuinely, I'm looking at you guys in the comments to say, listen, those of you who watch Serie A on a regular basis... Tell me how good he is, because I don't feel I'm in a position to make a fair judgment on him. I watched him 3 times in the Euros. He looks solid. He's left-footed. He looks comfortable on the ball. But who knows? I've seen players look great in international tournaments and not so good when they're signed. I hope he's really good. He came through as a left-back, ended up at centre-back, so he can play both positions. So let's see what happens. Master of Disaster said, Kivior must play centre-back. Milan, Napoli, Juve still pushing to sign him. They obviously see something in him. Big Italian clubs want him. So maybe we just haven't done him. You know, we haven't looked after him properly. The guy, Kivior's argument could be, I'm a very good centre-back, and Arsenal have played me left-back. How are you ever going to see the best of his ability? Maestro, not just that, Curtis Kiwior was meant to change the way we play. Yeah, it didn't happen. If he said, Curtis, I've never watched this guy in Serie A. Bro, like I said, I've seen him once. So the merch department licking their lips, yeah, they'll love it. They'll have him in Arsenal suits, Italian model, you know what I mean? They'll be all over it. Chevron said, nice quarter. Curtis stream didn't know. It was, hey, 2 p.m., bro, 2 p.m. I'm about most times 2 p.m. Just think it's a bit of an overpay. I thought that as well. I think the problem you've got, when it first was announced that we were getting this, or probably getting this guy, and it was going to be 50 million euros, I sat there and I said, nah, 50 million euros for a guy who's really had one big season and just got in the Italian squad. But when I stepped away from it, I did kind of look at it and think, well, okay, he's 22, he's Italian, he's an Italian international, and Bologna have just got in the Champions League, and he's got a few years left on his contract. We say English tax. Max Kilman has just left Wolves to go to West Ham, right? Max Kilman is 27 years of age and he's never played for England. And West Ham have paid £40 million for him. No international caps. No European football. £40 million, 27 years of age. English tax all over it. Calafiori is 22 years of age and he starts for Italy, left centre-back, and he's about to go into the Champions League with Bologna, and he has multiple years left on his contract, and he's left-footed, and Arsenal want him. You're going to pay 50 million euros for him. That's the reality. We paid 27 million pounds for Kiwior, who was playing for a team not in Europe, and who wasn't Italian. So, from a football point of view, I was like, it's not 50 million euros, but the way the modern game is and when you add it up, that's the going rate. That's the going rate for these players, especially when they got age on their side. To get an Italian defender out of Italy, you're going to pay a premium because they don't want them to leave. You saw the guy who used to be the sporting director. He said it's a disaster that Bologna are going to sell Calafiori to a team outside of Serie A, because they want to protect their national team and they like their big teams to have the best players. So they actually wanted him to go to Juventus, but Juventus can't pay the money. So it is that, BX Gunner. Yesterday's price is not today's price. You pay 40 million for a guy now with potential. He's starting for Italy, so I just hope he's a very good player. I really do. And I wonder where the plan is to play him. Because when I look in, I spoke about this the other day, we signed Pablo Mari, left-footed centre-back. We signed Kiwior, left-footed centre-back, and Gabriel, left-footed centre-back. And we're now looking to sign Calafiori. We also had offers turned down for Lisandro Martinez before he went to Man United, and we were apparently looking at Laporte at Man City. And on top of that, we've signed Zinchenko, who is a natural left-back, and we signed Nuno Tavares, who was a left-back, and Timber can play at left-back. So left-back seems to be a problem position for Arsenal. We've signed multiple players who can play there, but we haven't found that long-term solution. So is Calafiori going to be the left-back? Is Timber going to be the left-back? Is Calafiori just being brought in as competition? I don't know. Nuno Mendes is the left-back we need, says Lawrence. I think he's a fantastic left-back. He's a very modern attacking full-back, rapid player. And but PSG starts every week. It'd be hard to get out of there. So Calafiori looks close. We're probably about 10 Fabrizio Romano tweets away from a here we go. So I'm sure we'll be talking about this guy all week. Personally, I felt that Jurrien Timber would be Arsenal's left back next season. But we just don't know how he's recovered from that injury. I looked at Timber last season, the way he played in pre-season, the way he played in that Community Shield. I thought, Timber at left back, Ben White, Gabriel Saliba, that to me is our best back four. If he comes back fit and firing, I still think that is. Until I see Calafiori at Arsenal and what he can do, That's where I'm at with it. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. But obviously you need squad depth and you need options. So Calafiori close to agreeing the deal with Arsenal in terms of Arsenal and his team Bologna. That deal's going to get done. Apparently they've agreed 50 million euros, which is around 43 million pounds. But it's just the structure of the payments that they've got to sort out, people. So that one should get done. So I think you're looking at Calafiori and you're looking at Bentley, probably the first two transfers coming through the door. And then after that, I think, we go for other players because we need a striker. We need at least one centre midfielder and we need a winger. So these will just be the first two. They're not exciting. Calafiori is a good player, but I still don't think he's an exciting player. Exciting players are the ones that you look at and you go, that could make the difference between us and Manchester City. And I think to do that, it's going to be the midfielder, it's going to be the striker that makes the difference. We had the best defence in the Prem last year without Timber, so I still think we need someone else. Timber CDM, maybe, but I'd like a specialist rather than somebody who can do a job. Forder said, how do I get you on my podcast? I've had Dan Potts, Graham, James Lee. How do I get you? Send me an email, curtisshawtv@hotmail.com. I'll try and sort something out with you, bro, if I've got some time. Let's talk about... This guy is a funny one. Well, I don't know if he's funny. He might be good. And Partsland International is talking about him in the comments. Brian Brobbey. Now, again, I don't want to write anybody off before, he could come to Arsenal, score 25 goals, be a hero. For some reason, when I heard the name, I was like, what? Mr. Brobbey? I don't know, just the closest thing that popped in my head. Brian Brobbey. I thought Mr. Brobbey, and then I thought Bobby Brown. I know you're getting bored, chilling with them. I know you miss my love. What a big tune that was, by the way. And I'm a 50 Cent fan, so I'm not promoting no Ja Rule records, but Bobby Brown went crazy on that chorus. That was a real big tune back in the day. Brian Robbery. It's daylight Brobbery, people. It's daylight Brobbery. I'm sorry. And again, I hope I'm not wrong. People, the top gooners online would be crying about what I'm going to say. They say, you won't even give him a chance. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, people, right? You can get Gyökeres. You can get Osimhen. You can get Ivan Toney. You do not turn up with Brian Brobbey. Come, all right, 18 goals last season in the Dutch league, 13 the year before. I don't think he's in the Dutch squad. Didn't make the Dutch squad. No, he didn't. Xerxes, Depay, and Weghorst are the three strikers. So you're not getting in a Dutch squad over Wout Weghorst. I'm sorry. No. No. You don't love me and I know. Yo, no, you're right. Head loss. He's actually giving me side-eye. Look, he's looking over here. What are you looking at, bro? What's your problem? What is your problem? I tell you my problem. Stay at Ajax. Don't come to my club. It's daylight Brobbery. Edu, please. This link better not be true. It better not be true. It better not be true. Oh, some people saying he is in the Dutch squad. Well, if he is, he ain't kicked a ball because I ain't seen him. Tell me, people, anyone who watches Dutch football, am I making a mad mistake here? Am I writing off a potential superstar? Because I'm sorry, not for me. Not for me. Man's giving me bombastic side-eye, people. What's going on? Relax, bro. We don't want you here. Man said Brobbey Lyle. Nah. Relax, man. What happened to you? Blood, fire. The Dutch Eddie. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We don't need that. Dutch strikers seem to be a premium. Yeah, they got a little wave of strikers. Xerxes on his way to United, isn't he? That deal's nearly done, apparently. So we'll find out. Remember, I called him Picky Ed Ross. If he goes and bags goals, All right, too many dad jokes for LSU. Let me give you a bit of insight, just in case we do sign him and I have to shamelessly get out of this and pretend I always rated him. 22 years of age. Been at Ajax for 4 years. Played for Leipzig. Didn't really get a chance there. 9 goals, 9 games, 2 assists, no goals. Ajax. Only had a couple of caps for the national team. 18 goals in 30 games. 13 the year before, 7 the year before. Just Europa League, 5 games, no goals. Come on, man, please. I mean, what are we doing here, man? Like, this is actually, and I've used this a lot of times. Like, when things get better for you in life, the things that you use go up. They're supposed to go up. So when I was a kid, tough times. I'm drinking tap water. We're buying cheap orange juice from the shop that's weak as anything. You add water to it, already the flavour's going, right? You buying cheap toilet roll that feels like sandpaper. You're buying chocolate, Co-op's own brand. You're buying the Co-op pizza. Not the good pizza, you know, the Chicago town pizza. When you get better in life, guess what? You stop drinking the tap water. Or you at least filter the tap water. You buy the Chicago town pizza. You start living good. This, to me, is the equivalent. You're going on a night out. You got good bit of money in your pocket. You can go Harrods. You can go wherever you want. Buy some nice clothes. But on the way, you've gone in TK Maxx. Let me just have a quick look. Sale section. Oh, I like this shirt. Ralph Lauren. Boy, it's 2XL, but I'm only a large. But I do like it. And guess what? It's on sale for £27. When I was going to spend £400 on the T-shirt in Harrods. I'll take it. Yeah, mate. But it looks terrible on you. It's 2 sizes too big. It's creased. Yeah, but I'll take it. Like, this is the equivalent of a baggy Ralph Lauren T-shirt on sale in TK Maxx. Yeah, it's a T-shirt. And yeah, it's Ralph Lauren. But it ain't the right T-shirt. As we said, it's daylight Brobbey, people. It's daylight Brobbey. We don't want Brian Brobbey. We didn't leave Highbury to come to the Emirates to sign Brian Brobbey. Brobbey, whatever. Left him there, people. Leave him there. We don't want him. We don't want him. We've progressed. This is tap water. This is the last slice of bread. It's too dry. We've moved on. We can eat better now. We're living good. TK Maxx, they're never going to sponsor me, are they, ever? I annihilate them all the time. But, you know, I do like TK Maxx, but some of the stuff's crazy. I've got no chance of a sponsorship deal with them, either. Arsenal don't want to work with me because I've done about 50 Arteta out shows. And now TK Maxx will never sponsor me, but hey, we'll try. What do you guys think? Anybody in the comments that's watched him in Holland? Is there something I'm getting wrong here? Is there a player there that I should be made aware of? Aston Villa are positioning themselves in the race to get Federico Chiesa. Club has contacted the wingers' reps with an interesting financial offer. I mean, they got Diaby and Bailey on the right. Maybe he'd play on the left. He'd be a fantastic signing. The community's all you got left. Hey, come on. I told you, people, I'm a community man. I'm doing it for the community. Listen, he could be a good player. Brobbey Fowler, I like that one. Brobbey Fowler. Allow him as a family to feed. Listen, I can't knock the hustle. I hope he gets a new contract at Ajax. I want you to live good, bro, but not at Arsenal. We've been for a roller coaster when it comes to strikers. Started with Wrighty, Thierry, Bergkamp, Anelkas, Van Persie's and Aubameyangs, with a few Bentners and Shamaks and Yaya Sonogos and Lacazettes, and we need to live good again when it comes to a striker, not Brian Brobbey. Right, Dr. Brown said, Brian from Amsterdam, he is an Nketiah type that likes to eat good. So basically he's a chubby Eddie Nketiah. Enough said. Let's leave it there. We don't want a chubby Eddie. That's literally. So basically, it's literally Sherman Klump. It's the Sherman Klump version. So Eddie Nketiah's Buddy Love and Brian Brobbey is Sherman Klump. So, you know what I mean? Hercules, Hercules. We don't want that. We don't want that. So we'll leave him. If we ever sign this guy after what I've said about him in this stream, it's going to be problems. I may have to edit the stream and take certain bits out of it. You know what I mean? No, you know me. I'll shamelessly leave it there, people. But yeah, Brian Brobbey being linked with a move to Arsenal. Ajax apparently want £30 million for him. Yeah, I bet they do. But listen, there might be a player there, but people are telling me he's a chubby Eddie Nketiah, so I think we should stay way away from that. A couple more stories, people, before we round up. Man said private the video, bro. Straight away, private that. Nah, I'll leave it there. Damn, this is tap water, courtesy discretion. Bro, I'm telling you, you know that tap water, man, with the fluoride in it? It's just not good. You got to stay away from it. It's not good for you. Big up E. Ross, English Tax Ross, man. And you know what? I hope a lot of you guys are going to the games in the US. Those of you who live in the US. Obviously, you've got the game in Philly against Liverpool and the 2 games in LA. So hopefully some of you guys are over there. A couple more stories before we round up. Gyökeres. Did you know, people, Gyökeres got the highest amount of goals and assists in all competitions in the whole of Europe last season, in the top leagues, what they consider the top leagues in Europe. Victor Gyökeres, in all competition, 43 goals and 15 assists. That is unbelievable. Although it is crazy because I saw that third on the list is Luke de Jong. And Luke de Jong, in my opinion, is an awful player. 33 years of age, Luke de Jong got 29 league goals in 34 games in the Dutch league with 15 assists. Absolutely incredible numbers for a guy that you wouldn't want anywhere near Arsenal Football Club. So you do have to take these things, you know, a little bit. It depends what league you're doing that in, really. Kylian Mbappe, 54. Haaland, 44. Icardi got 44. Cole Palmer, 42. And Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, 41 goal contributions at Marseille last year. 30 goals and 11 assists. If I speak, I am in big, big trouble. And I don't want to get in big trouble, people. Remember Richard Garlick and Edu? They were high-fiving. Well done, Rich. We've given him away. I'll say no more on the matter, people. It's a touchy subject. It's in that place with like Emi Martinez, you know. People, I start mentioning those names, people get sensitive. So I'll leave it. I'll leave it. But Victor Gyökeres, goal machine. 58 goal contributions. Is he the answer? Aubameyang won as our last trophy. Aubameyang lawyer back in. No. I'm leaving it. I'm not going to do it. We won't talk about it. But yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, instead of Brian Brobbey, go and get someone like Gyökeres or somebody like that. But yeah, like I said, when you see man like Luke de Jong on here at 33 years of age, getting 56 goal contributions, then you know you've got to be careful. A lot of this depends what league you're doing this in, you know. Was you doing it in the Champions League and things like that? SFT said, let it go. I'll let it go. Right, anyway, let's move on. But yeah, as I said, the story going around today again, saying that Arsenal are lining up a move for Gyökeres. You know, sometimes you think, what are you lining up? It has a release clause. Now, I understand it. Maybe Arsenal are not willing to pay the release clause, so they're going to try and get the deal done at a slightly lower price, which is understandable. One big year in Portugal, you would try and get that deal down a little bit. I have no problem with that whatsoever. However, how long does it take? This guy isn't at the Euros. Do you know what I mean? He's not at the Euros, so that whole excuse of, they're at the Euros, when the Euros is finished, the deal will get done. This guy's not at the Euros. So if you wanted to get the deal done, you could. But listen, maybe they are getting the deal done in the background. So we'll see what happens with that one. But Victor Gyökeres being linked with Arsenal again, lining up a move. But you just hope they get a deal done at some stage. Why were you okay with Mudryk, Sesko, but not Brobbey? First of all, with me, I was never happy with Sesko. So I got to quote you on that. As you know, I was calling him Benjamin Tesco. I didn't want him at the football club. Mudryk to me was a guy to come in and help. I was never looking at Mudryk and thinking, yo, you're just going to come in and start ahead of Martinelli. I looked at him as you're going to come in and be competition and you're rapid. And there was potential there. It was overpriced, and it was January as well. So sometimes in the middle of a window, you're like, yo, there ain't a lot available, just grab that. It's like going to the supermarket when it's going to close in 10 minutes. Sometimes you panic buy because, this store will close in 10 minutes. You're like, Ross, what shall I do? Shop's closing. All right, I'll grab that, and that. You get home, you're like, yo, what did I buy that for? I didn't even need that. That's the equivalent of Mudryk. Tesco, I didn't want nothing to do with Benjamin Tesco. Not a thing did I want to do with that guy. But this is the summer window. You've got 3 months. You've got more money. And we need not necessarily a superstar, but we need someone who can make a big impact. We're chasing Pep. We're chasing Haaland. This ain't no joke thing. Brian Brobbey ain't getting us past Pep. I'm sorry. And I haven't even hardly seen the guy play. I feel I can say that confidently. Ajax didn't even win their league. They were awful last season. So, yeah, I'm saying it. I'm saying it. I don't care if we get Isak or Gyökeres, both ballers. Isak, I think that one is long gone. You got to wait another year at least before we get anywhere near that one. Anyway, couple more stories before we... Hey, OGD, big up yourself, though. I appreciate your message. We can shop at Harrods, take advantage, you know what I mean? Sesko was horrible in the Euros. Missed so many sitters. Let me just say one thing with Sesko. I didn't want him at Arsenal. I don't think he's good enough. He has got some potential. For a guy of 6'5", he can shift. He's quick. I just don't think he's an elite finisher at this stage. I think he's one of them strikers who will miss a lot of chances. It's very frustrating. There is some potential there. So I'm not writing him off. In a year or two, I might be sitting here going, yo, Sesko has improved. I just don't think he's good enough for what we need now. If we had a top quality striker, I wouldn't mind Sesko coming in as a backup. The problem is, we got Kai Havertz, so Sesko can't come in when you've got Havertz. We need somebody way above Havertz level, He did bully Pepe, caused him all sorts. He couldn't handle him. But then the problem, he gets one-on-one, he misses. Give him another year or two, he could be a player. Could be a player. Problem is, he'll be super expensive when the clubs come back for him. Sesko proved he isn't Arsenal quality in the Euros. Let's have a look at a couple more stories. Big up everyone locked in. 1,600 of you. Big up the Twitch gang as well. C-Unit business. Let's go. Euros final week. Will England be in the final? And then we'll get down to Arsenal business, people. Mikel Merino. Very, very good player. Now, personally, I would sign this guy over Zubimendi at Sociedad. Mikel Arteta, according to the Sport over there in Spain, Mikel Arteta wants to sign Mikel Merino for Arsenal. No matter what. I love when they put little things in like, no matter what, at all costs. Arteta has already contacted the Real Sociedad star, and the player has been tempted by the possibility of a move to Arsenal. I'm a fan of him. Left-footed, silky on the ball, can tackle. I think he's a good player. I would be happy if Arsenal got this deal done. I like his physical attributes. The only thing, it doesn't bother me, but Arsenal, he's 28. And Arsenal, when you talk about 28-year-olds, people go, oh, too old, no sell-on value. I don't care about that. Good, come to the club, win us a title, who cares? Spanish international, left-footed, 5 goals, 3 assists last year, 32 games. I think he's a very good player. And apparently wouldn't be overly expensive, which is crazy. I'm just looking now. He's only got a year left on his contract. It has a release clause of 60 million euros, 53 million pounds, but apparently they're prepared to sell him for a lot cheaper than that, as fears mount about his contract expiring next summer. Apparently they have spoken to him about a new contract, but as yet he has not been willing to re-sign. Barcelona were looking at him as well, but haven't yet made a move for him. They believe you could get him for around 30 to 25 million euros this summer. That is a bargain. That is at 25 million euros. Sometimes I just don't understand Arsenal. I really don't get it. There is bargains to be got this summer. You can get this guy for 25 million. Crazy. You can get Fofana for 25 million. 50 million, 2 centre mids. There's your midfield sorted for 50 mil. These men want to buy Zubimendi for 50 odd mil. Or Anana for 50 odd mil. You can get 2 of these and sort out your midfield. Yeah, Mikel Merino and Mikel Arteta. Maybe Arteta don't want him because of his first name. Say, listen, there's only one Mikel at this club. This would be a great signing. I mean, the only thing I would say, when he left Newcastle, there was reports that he was desperate to go back to Spain. Would he then want to come back to the Prem, or was it just a case of he didn't like it in Newcastle? Get a lot of bad weather in Newcastle. It's not as vibrant a city. It's not as vibrant a city as London. If he leaves, you're going to see how bad Zubi is. And Salman lives in Spain and watches La Liga, so I trust his opinion. And listen, I've watched this guy a few times. I think he's a very, very good player. That would be a bargain. I would love Arsenal to get this deal done. But we'll see. We'll see what materialises. As I always say, people, if it makes sense, Arsenal won't do it. And it makes a lot of sense. So we'll probably sign Zubimendi for about 60 million or something. Let's finish off with Mikel, not Merino, Mikel Arteta. Did an interview with ESPN. He said quite a few things, but this was the main headline. I don't want to do the old, all right, let's just read it out. This was the main headline out of what he said. He said, he was asked about last season. He said, when you are analytical and you gather all the stats and everything the team has done over the past 11 months in the Premier League, we should have won it. That's what the stats say. That's what Arteta says. We should have won it. We won the stat Premier League, people, according to Arteta. Now, you have to pull up the stats. I had to look at the league and I'm like, where's the angle here? Ultimately, the biggest stat in football is who got the most points. So we didn't get the most points. That's the most important stat. They got 2 points more than us. We conceded 5 less than them. They scored 5 more than us. We got identical goal difference of plus 62. So they scored more than us. We conceded less than them. We lost more games than them. And we won the same amount of games, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. You turn one draw. You know how crazy this is when I look at this? We lost. You know what? Let me share the screen. Looking at this is absolutely painful. It's not the full quote. I know there was more, but that was the headline. I said at the end of last season was worse than the season before. The way it ended. Last season was worse. A lot of people don't agree with that because we collapsed 2 years ago. I think last season was worse. And I tell you why. I feel there are legitimate reasons behind 2 seasons ago why we didn't win the league, even though we was 8 points clear. Saliba's injury mashed up our defence. You ain't winning a league with 12 games to go with Rob Holding in it. And you've got to go to the Etihad. They had a game in hand. They won the game in hand, 5 points. They beat us at the Etihad, 2 points. And then we crumbled. They won the league. It was painful. I think last season was worse. We had hardly any injuries, apart from maybe in fact, I take that back. Timber was injured. Partey was injured. But you look at last season. If we turn one defeat into a win, we win the title. If you turn one draw into a win, we win the title. How crazy is that? 2-2 at home to Fulham. You don't concede that goal against 10 men Fulham, you win the title. You're level on goal difference, and you get another goal. No, sorry, we'd have been level on points, 91, and we'd have gone up by 1 on goal difference. We would have won the title by 1 goal on goal difference if we'd have beaten Fulham at home. If we'd have beaten Aston Villa at home. If we'd have beaten Fulham away. Any of those games, we win the title. That, for me, is sickening. Absolutely sickening when I think about it. Last season was the most painful because we were good. We matched Man City. 28 wins, 28 wins. 90 plus goals, best defence. It's unbelievable to think. West Ham at home over 20 shots, beaten 2-0. Aston Villa, that Trossard volley, 7 yards out, straight at Emmy. Last season was absolute agony. When you look back at that to think, turn one of them draws into a win, we win the league on goal difference. I don't even want to look at this table for too long. It is painful. So, listen, it wasn't the full quote what Arteta said. So, that he said more. I get what he's saying, but also you've got to say that the main stats are the points at the end of the day. That's the reality of the situation. We were dominant in many ways. But Salvador said, it sounds like my wife when she's out shopping with a credit card. The numbers, stats don't add up. They don't add up, man. They don't add up. I get this point, but ultimately, if you ain't got the most points, no other stats matter. You can actually win more games and still not win the title. That's how crazy football is. If you lose more and they draw more, those draws might get them the points that extra win for you gets them back. So football is a funny old game. And what we've seen with Pep, you've got to be close to faultless. I think to win the league at the moment with Man City, you've got to get 90 points minimum. You've got to get 90 points. That's the minimum. And that might not win you the league depending on how good City are. That's the reality of the situation. If I look through the last few seasons, 91 points last year for Man City. The year before, 89, but they won the league with about 4 games to go, started rotating for the Champions League final. They drew and lost their last 2 games. So I would argue at full strength, they would have got another 3 or 4 points. So it would have been maybe 92, 93 points. The year before, 93 points. The year before that, 86 points, but Man United finished 12 points behind them. They took the foot off the gas again. And the year before that, 99 points, won the title. And even the year before that, 98 points. Liverpool got 97 and didn't even win the league. You have got to get 90 points to have any chance of getting near that title. And even that might not get it. You could get 90 points and finish second. That's the level. That's the level. I agree with Mayo. Man City, in reality, as crazy as it is, they didn't actually have a great season last year. Kevin De Bruyne out injured for 6 months. Arguably City's best player. Haaland out for 8 weeks, their goal machine. Doku didn't really rip the league up in terms of goals. He was an impact player. Grealish had a poor season, injured a lot. You're looking at Kovacic was okay. They sold Mahrez, Laporte. They were big losses. Gundogan was a big loss. Núñez didn't do anything. Vardy did well second half of the season. They still got 91 points. So I actually think you're going to have to get 93, 94 points. So the levels are so high. And that's why I'm being so pushy in the sense of buying Brian Brobbey ain't getting you the title. Don't get me wrong. You don't always have to sign a big name, expensive top player for them to work out. Sometimes you sign a player who's not as, expensive and big named and they can still be a good player. But we need a striker that scores goals. We need a midfielder that sits next to Declan Rice and they're a formidable partnership. I think Rice and Partey could have been brilliant, but I don't trust Partey to get enough games out of him. So if you keep him, you've still got to buy a centre mid. And if you sell him, I actually think you've got to buy 2 centre mids because I think you need Rice, a centre mid to start next to him, a Partey replacement, and then Jorginho as 4th. If you keep Partey, I think you go Rice, new centre mid, Partey, Jorginho, there's your 4. So we need to do work. I think our signings are going to be late in this transfer window, which is frustrating because it's nice to get them done early, take them on tour, let them settle in. You look at players like David Raya, we signed him at the end of the window and he had a shaky start at the club. And a lot of that is down to the fact he didn't have a pre-season. You don't know your teammates. You don't know the setup. They're asking you to do something else. The pressure and expectation is a lot different. He came from Brentford to Arsenal. It took him a while to settle in. So those mistakes were teething problems. If you get a player in early, he might make those mistakes in pre-season, no problem. By the time the season starts, you've settled in already. So it's frustrating that we haven't done any big business yet. I know other clubs haven't, but ultimately we've got to focus on ourselves. Hopefully Calafiori gets done this week. Bentley will come in just purely as a backup goalkeeper, as an English quota player. Zach said if Partey and Rice played the whole season, we would have won the league 100%. 100%. That midfield would have been incredible. Relax, Big C. It's only phase 4.2. Hey, we're nearly there, people. We're trying to get to phase 5. Fan base didn't help either. I mean, listen, we've got a very mixed fan base in our opinions. We all want the same thing. The Arsenal fan base is like multiple people coming from different directions trying to get to the same place. But we've all got different viewpoints on how well we're doing and how we get there. Now, one thing you will never see with me online, you'll never see me call somebody out for their opinion on Arsenal. Because the one thing you're entitled to as a football fan is your own opinion. That's what makes football the best sport in the world. Your opinion counts. No one can tell you your opinion's wrong. You can only be told your opinion's wrong if it's not factual and there's a fact that goes against your opinion. So there's fans that think Arteta's fantastic. He's brought us from 8th. He's took us up to the title challenge. He's great. There's fans that think 5 years in charge, 700 million, should have won more trophies. Both of those scenarios both have truth in them. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. On the one hand, he did grab us from the depths of Socrates and Mustafi, and he got us into the Champions League and in a title challenge, playing good football. He deserves a lot of credit for that. On the other hand, you could say in 5 years at the club, with 700 million and a lot of patience, he should have won more than one FA Cup. And that's true as well. I think he should have. Arsenal, a massive football club. And the truth is somewhere in the middle. That's why I never call people out for their opinion. Sometimes I look at people's opinion on Twitter, I go, wow, can't believe you think that. But you would never see me tweet someone and go, yo, bro, how can you think that? You're an idiot, blah, blah, blah. That's your opinion, bro. That's football. Football is a game of opinions. Nottingham Forest turned down Andy Cole. Nottingham boy. I know him and his family. I know his younger family, like his cousins and that, who are more my age. Andy Cole is obviously older. Andy Cole, big baller from Nottingham. Went Nottingham Forest, got rejected. Didn't sign him. Not good enough, they said. What? Andy Cole? Man went to Arsenal, left Arsenal, went to Newcastle, ripped the league apart, went to Man United, won the treble. One of the greatest partnerships in Premier League history, Cole and York. Nottingham Forest said he wasn't good enough. Sean Wright-Phillips went on trial at Forest. Too small. They said, nah, not good enough, too small. All right, goes to Man City, signs for Chelsea, 21 million. Too small? Really? Football opinions, innit? Football opinions. Wenger had Ibrahimovic, Zlatan on trial. Said, nah, not good enough to sign him. Look at the career he had. Yaya Toure on trial. Said, he's tall, I'll play him up front. Not very good as a striker. Didn't sign him. One of the best centre-mids we've seen in the Prem. Football opinions. We get it wrong sometimes, we get it right. We all just got to figure out as a fan base. I'm not doing the Rashford celebration, by the way. I'm just saying. As a fan base, we've got to figure out, push the team, put pressure on the club to deliver success. Instead of wasting your time going, oh, there's a YouTuber there whose opinion's different to mine. Oh, let me have a meltdown. I'm so angry. Oh, he doesn't think like me. That's stupid. That's wasted energy, bro. Put pressure on the club. Manager's been there 5 years now. Edu's been there for years. Kroenke's told us to be excited. I'm still not that excited. I like the progression. I'm not excited yet. I'm not seeing trophies lifted. I'm not seeing a top quality striker. I'm not seeing a top quality centre mid next to Declan Rice. I'm not seeing a left back that completes that defence, That defence is 75% settled. Ben White's been quality at right back. 2 centre-backs are outstanding. Sort the left back out. Is it Timber? Is it Calafiori? But what I don't want is next year we're signing another left footer in defence. Because every year we seem to be buying a left-footed defender. So just sort that left back position out. No armpits, sponsored by Manscaped. Hey, why not, eh? Why not? We need armpits. We need them to be lifting titles. Big Unknown C said, keep speaking on it, sir. Mentality of the fans need to change. 100%, bro. And I say it all the time. I say it all the time. You see me on Twitter. I say it. When the grenades drop, I know what's going off in the comments. It's a movie. It's like when you throw the grenade, you walk off, there's fire behind you. But I say, listen, don't matter about my opinion, whatever. Push this club and demand the best. They need a striker. They've got money. You should be buying a quality striker. Don't cut corners and sell us with some little young striker that ain't... No. You can get Osimhen. You can get Gyökeres. You can get Tony. There's options. So go and buy them. Give us the best. Big C had to put the Rashford name out again. Hey, listen, man. I think Rashford might leave United this summer. B Smith said, I think we shouldn't assign Raya on a permanent. I prefer Ramsdale. Raya is a better distribution. Ramsdale a better shot stopper. I haven't seen Raya do a world-class save. I think Ramsdale... The problem is Raya's just won the Golden Glove. He is better on the ball. He is better at coming for crosses. Maybe as a shot stopper, he's not as good. But again, football's opinions. Arteta prefers him. 20 years since we won the title, never won the Champions League. The club needs to step up 100%. The 2 biggest trophies, one of them we've never touched. Champions League. The other one, 2 decades. So if you're in your early 20s now, you've never seen Arsenal win the league. Or if you have, you might have been in nappies. I think we're entitled to see a trophy, a major trophy. You've seen Chelsea win them. You've seen Man City win them. You've even seen Man United win them. You've seen Liverpool win them. It's only us. And Tottenham, but Tottenham don't win trophies. It's only us. We're at the back of the queue, people. In the last 10 years, 10, 12, in the last 11 years, I think all those teams have won the title. Man United won it in 2013. City have won it, obviously, nearly every year. Chelsea have won it under Conte. Liverpool have won it under Klopp. It's only us who haven't won it. Even Leicester have won it in the last 10 years. We're entitled to say, oh, when are we actually going to win a league? When are we going to do what it takes? When are we going to come out of a transfer window as a fan base and say, you know what? There's our 1 to 11. And look here and go, we don't really need much. Could we improve it? Yes, but I'm happy with everything. At the moment, you're looking at Arsenal's team, you're going, who's the left back going to be? Oh, I'm not sure. It could be Timber, but is he fit enough? Could be Calafiori, but can he play there? Will he stick with Zinchenko? We don't know what's happening at left back. Who's going to be the centre mid next to Declan Rice? Well, it could be Partey, but can he play 38 games? Will he sell him to Saudi? Will we sign someone else? Who's it going to be? We still don't know. Who's the striker going to be? Well, we've got Havertz, and he likes Havertz, but he's not prolific enough. Who are we going to sign? They said they want a young striker, which is why they went for Saka. So are they going to go for a youngster who's a backup to Havertz? That's not good enough. Havertz ain't winning us the Premier League next year as a striker. Facts. Yeah, he got 13 goals, and people can say, yeah, but if he plays a full season, he could get 20 goals. No, he's not prolific enough. He'll miss big chances at big moments in big games. You saw it with Germany. His all-round game was pretty decent. But when it came to the big chances, no, not happening. He's missing. Like I said, last season, he didn't score against Liverpool. He didn't score against Man City. He didn't score against Porto or Bayern Munich in the knockout stages. So, he's a good player, but Havertz needs to be the backup, not the starting 11 striker. No chance. Yeah, we should be streaming France-Spain tomorrow. 8 o'clock kickoff. Crew's got training tomorrow. So I'm going to be I'll be back for kickoff. There won't be a lot of build-up to that. I may not get into the house till just before that game starts. So the England game the night after, I will do obviously a longer build-up. So yeah, we'll do both games. People, thank you very much for tuning in. Zlatan doesn't do trials, he said. Exactly. Appreciate your time on this Monday. Hope you have a great week. Tomorrow, as long as there's enough news, I'll be live at 2 o'clock, Arsenal content. 8 o'clock will be Spain against France. The day after, 2 o'clock again, Arsenal. And then we'll do the England game on Wednesday. So busy week. Copa America, I might do the Copa America as well. But I'll figure that out. I'll let you guys know. And obviously, I'll definitely do the finals of both. So, yeah, we'll have a busy week. And then next week, pre-season for Arsenal starts on Monday. And then the following Monday after that, pre-season tour of the US. So we got a busy month ahead, people. Appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.